Hi guys, in this video we are learning a little bit more about weather fronts. So we are going to look at the 4 different kinds of fronts and try to see what they look like and what the weather is at each front. So we are going to start with a warm front. At a warm front, well, the name kind of tells us a little bit about what's going on here. A warm front occurs when a warm air mass moves in. So if a warm air mass is moving in, that means the temperature will go up. Temperature goes up, it gets warmer. So the temperatures will increase after the warm front moves over a place. With a warm front, we will also see rain showers. And these rain showers will take place ahead of the front. Okay, so we'll look at that more when we look at weather maps. But for now, we need to know that the rain is ahead of the front. So again, the temperature goes up, we see rain showers, and now rain occurs ahead of the front. Let's go ahead and draw a picture of what we see with a warm front. So if our front is on the ground right about here, we have a very gentle slope in a warm front, and the warm air is rising up very slowly over a mass of cold air. Notice the arrows, both the warm air and the cold air are moving in the same direction. And like I said before, notice the slope is very gentle. We see a gentle slope. We also said that the rain occurs ahead of the front. And what we mean by that is if the front is right here, the rain and the clouds that develop will be a little bit further out ahead of the front. So your clouds might be here with your rain occurring in this area. So there's a little bit of distance between the front itself and where the clouds are developing, where the rain is occurring. And don't forget your map symbol for a warm front is a line, a red line usually, with little red semicircles. They kind of look like little mini suns that tell us the direction that the front is moving. Moving on to the next one, our second front is a cold front. And similar to when we talked about a warm front, cold front tells us about the temperature. In a cold front, the temperature is going to go down. It gets colder or cooler. The difference here is with a cold front, we do get rain, but instead of just saying rain showers, here we get thunderstorms, heavy rain, big thunderstorms, lightning. Sometimes even we might see a tornado. So for a cold front, we have thunderstorms, heavy rain, lightning, and maybe even a tornado. And before we talked about where this weather happens, for a cold front, the rain or the storm happens on top of the front, so at the same location of the front. Rain is on top of the front. So let's see what this looks like. For a cold front, we have a big cold air mass moving in. And for a cold front, it's a big, huge, I kind of think of it as like a big boulder, a big rock of cold air moving in. It's coming in, going this way. And notice that when we drew the cold air, we drew this very steep slope. Okay, it's like I said, it's like a big, huge rock, a big boulder coming in. And our front would be right on the ground here. And when this big mass of cold air comes in, it forces the warm air to rise up very, very quickly. So the warm air immediately gets forced up. And again, the reason that it gets forced up so quickly is because of that steep slope. So because the warm air gets forced up very, very quickly, we said the rain, the thunderstorms, the big storm that happens when we see a cold front happens right on top of the front. So on top of my front. And remember, it is a thunderstorm, heavy rain, lightning. And the symbol for a cold front is a blue line with blue triangles pointing in the direction that the front is moving. The next kind of front that we want to look at is a stationary front. And so stationary front, again, the name tells us something about what's going on. A stationary front occurs when two air masses hit each other and they don't really move. They stay stationary. So two air masses come at each other. And they don't move. So because they don't really move, we do get rain, and the rain lasts for many days. Let's go ahead and draw a stationary front. When we say that two air masses come at each other, we have usually a cold air mass and a warm air mass coming at each other. So the arrows should be facing each other because they're moving head on. And when we have this situation, we have rain showers, rain events that last for sometimes a few days because neither air mass moves really. And the symbol for a stationary front is a combination of the warm front and cold front symbol with the triangles and the half suns on opposite sides. The very last front that we have to look at is an occluded front. So an occluded front occurs when a cold front takes over a warm front. when we see an occluded front, we have heavy rain. Sometimes we have big storms. This is kind of like our nor'easter, when we have a big nor'easter snowstorm, or maybe a nor'easter in the spring or summer when we just have a lot of rain. It's usually some kind of big storm event. And our diagram of an occluded front looks like a combination of a warm front and a cold front diagram. Okay, and so when we have our big boulder of cold air moving in, this time we're going to say, this time we are going to say that this is very cold air, because the cold air that comes in from the cold front is going to be the coldest air in this system. It's moving this way. It meets up with another cold air mass. And because these two cold air masses meet, there was warm air, but the warm air is completely lifted off the ground. So notice that the warm air is not touching the bottom of the picture. The warm air is completely lifted off the ground. It gets forced up. And so we have rain, sometimes maybe snow, happening where that warm air is forced up. The symbol for an occluded front, the shapes are on the same side, but it's alternating blue triangle, red semicircle. Thanks for following along. That's all for today.